Listen, we can say what we want about Lewandowski's age and, maybe his legs. He's losing his legs. I get it with his age and, injuries over the last few years. He's 38 years old. He's one of the best strikers, not only of this generation, but of all time. And I'm here to tell you right now that he still needs to be one of the very first names on our team sheet, along with Lamine Yamal, along with Pedri, along with Frankie, whatever. He is as important as any other player, and I have a few reasons here to why. Let me just explain to you. Ferran Torres is not a Barcelona quality player. Off the bench is a whole other thing. But Ferran Torres, as a striker, he's not even Bournemouth level. That's not his fault. He's not a striker. I'm not saying anything bad about Ferran Torres. He is just not a striker. I'm very, very appreciative of him stepping up when he has to, and against smaller teams, he does what he has to do. But the thing is, first of all, he doesn't have the finishing of Lewandowski or the striker's instinct. So I want to start with the striker's instinct. That is something you cannot teach. If you're watching this video, you've played football or you're an avid football enjoyer, whether it's watching, playing, discussing, whatever. You know what I'm talking about when I say striker's instinct. It's more than just finishing. It's when you can smell the space that you have to run into before the space appears. Okay? You see how people talk about Haaland's positioning and whatever? That's a striker's instinct. Giorgio Chiellini, Hall of Fame footballer, I don't know why I just said him, he could not do he as good as he is, as good as Pirlo is, as good as Xavi and Iniesta are, they did not have the striker's instinct. And that's why these players didn't lift the Ballon d'Or, for example, okay? So Lewandowski, he's definitely shown us in his career that striker's instinct that I'm talking about, even when he was at Borussia Dortmund. 4 goals against Madrid in one game. Let me tell you, if Lewandowski didn't play in the Bundesliga for a majority of his career, it would be unanimous that he's better than Luis Suarez. And look, I'm a Barcelona fan. You could see right here. That's my love, right? But and it's nothing against the Bundesliga. It's not that it's a terrible league. It's not watched as much as Premier League, as Serie A, as La Liga. Nothing against the Bundesliga. A lot of great footballers play there and have came from there, and they proved themselves other places. It's just the fact that it wasn't watched. That's what I mean by Bundesliga tax. Because what he was doing at Dortmund was good, but what he was doing at Bayern was unbelievable. Unbelievable. It was more than just goals, but you only see the goals because when you don't watch, all you can see is the stat sheet, which just shows you the goals, okay? So not only does Lewandowski score, but when Lewandowski's on the field, the defenders they need to pay attention to him. They gravitate towards him. He not only is he the reference point for when we're building up an offense. Let me show you. I have a tactics board here. Let me show you. It's not only that Lewandowski is the reference point, so if we have a goal kick, he could be anywhere across this line, right? And sometimes you see him dropping deep down here. I'm not going to bring him everywhere, but sometimes you see him dropping deep here, because he's the main reference point, because his hold-up play, his linked-up play, his ability to draw fouls, and his IQ is unmatched across Europe. There's only a very small list of players that can compete with him on these levels. But Lewandowski, as our reference point across here, if we're fully pressed, you can go long to him. He's going to bring that ball down. You've seen it already. I don't have to explain that to you. But the thing is, when he comes in, it's guaranteed at least one player's coming with him. What does that mean? Space. Space. You see Rafinha's season last season? That doesn't happen with Ferran Torres striker. That happens with Lewandowski dropping in, bringing the center back, and Rafinha exploiting all the space. Boom, against Bayern Munich, all 3 of his goals. He gets the ball here. Space. What I call those players are space attackers or space eaters. Rafinha, Rashford, Balde. That's not all they're good at, but it's what they're the best at. Imagine you had Mbappe on this left, someone like that. With Lewandowski, that's why Mbappe wanted a striker at PSG. Because he wanted to be a space eater here and feed. Go look. Do a little bit of research. When Mbappe played with Giroud, Mbappe was at the top of his game. He's still a Hall of Famer when he plays in the middle. But when Mbappe played with someone like Giroud, that's what I'm. So when Lewandowski drops in, the space, not only on this side, but I'm pointing to this side because Rafinha, Balde, and Rashford are mainly on this left-hand side. But you've seen Rafinha drift everywhere. He goes where the space is, and that's the benefit of having Lamine Yamal on the right here. Because defenders know they need to double up on him, so he gravitates a lot of attention to him as well, right? So and that's another reason why Lewandowski mainly plays on this zone 14 left half space over here for his hold up play because there's already a lot of attention here. He soaks in this center half, the right center half for the other team. Rafinha, Rashford, even Balde on the overlap, feast. Okay, similar to Jordi Alba back then when Messi would soak in. Okay, so that's the thing. His hold up play and the way defenders gravitate towards Lewandowski, you're not going to find that across Europe. And with the budget that Barcelona has, to fill those shoes and to get a player that can do all these things, it's damn near impossible. Garassi is about your cheapest bet, and he's going to be about 60 million. Okay, I'm a fan of Garassi. I think he'd be a decent, but it's not Lewandowski at the end of the day. His hold-up play, his IQ, all those things are about 5 times as good as Ferran Torres. No disrespect to Ferran Torres. Without that reference point, teams cannot build their attacks. They cannot. Lewandowski came back from injury the other day and just scored a hat trick, but he just made it look so easy. He knows where to go. When the ball touches him, it just ends up in the back of the net. You don't even know how. Okay? When he gets fouled, he knows how to sell it. He had the experience. Another thing is we have a very young squad, okay? So him being 38, even though he doesn't have the best legs, he's up here, levels above the rest of our squad because of the experience. We need leaders and people with strong mental characters on the field to guide us. When the team goes down, do you remember Inter in the 22-23 season? We tied them 3-3 in the group stage. That was the Lewandowski hat trick. You know how down our team's morale must have been when you score and then Inter scores right away? Especially the fact that Inter scored in that game, I think 5 or 10 minutes in, Lautaro scored. Our team's morale, a bunch of 21-year-olds at most, right? Maybe De Jong was 25, but we have a lot of young guys on the field. Their morale goes down. Now, what does Lewandowski do? He scores. Inter scores again. What does Lewandowski do? He scores. That's what you need from your focal point, from your leaders. And another really thing I wanted to talk about was when Lewandowski's on the field, when we concede corners, he clears all of them. He has a big aerial presence. And that's very important nowadays. Headers are like the most scored goal in football nowadays. And he's very good in the air, but it's not just offensively. Defensively, he's getting all those corners though. It's a joke, right? So not only is he a great finisher, not only does he have the striker's instinct, not only is he a great leader, he's doing the defensive work too. He's coming in to link up too at 38 years old. If you ask me, he's a bigger Barcelona legend than Luis Suarez. And Luis Suarez was a phenomenal player, but he had very rough patches near the end, and he went 4 years without scoring away in the Champions League, whatever. But Lewandowski really looks like he's looking after our young guys. Do you see his relationship with Gavi, for example? He's really invested in mentoring these players. And that's what it means to play at Barcelona Football Club. You're not just a superstar for yourself, similar to Real Madrid, those guys over there, those Lewandowski needs to be one of the very first names on our team sheet if we want to have a banger season. And pray to God, Laporta and Co. and Deco can find a gem replacement that doesn't break the bank and send us into bankruptcy. Enjoy the rest of your day. Lewandowski, we love you, man. We do. I swear.